The sky was blue. Children played in the parks. Birds flew over tall cities. Life was peaceful on Earth. But that peace didn't last. It started with a sound, deep, low, and strange. People across the world looked up. First there was nothing. Then the sky turned black. Massive ships appeared out of nowhere. They were not human. Long, sharp, and dark, like metal snakes, they floated above every major city on Earth. People screamed. Some prayed. Others ran, but there was nowhere to hide. Captain Rhea stood on a rooftop in New York City. She was off duty, wearing a simple jacket and jeans. Her military mind knew something was very wrong. These ships were not just visitors. They came ready for war. Evacuate the streets, she shouted to nearby officers. But it was already too late. A loud hum filled the air. Then dash fire, red beams, shot down from the alien ships. Skyscrapers melted like wax. Cars flew into the air. Streets cracked open. The ground shook. The attacks were fast and brutal. In just 5 minutes, 5 cities were gone. Rhea ran to the nearest military command center. It was chaos inside. Soldiers shouted. Radios screamed with dying voices. Earth's defense systems were too slow. Nothing could stop the attack. "Who are they?" one soldier cried. No one knew. There had been no warning, no signal, no message. The enemy didn't talk. They just destroyed. Then came the name. A broken message came from the Asian front. The Varnock. They're called the Varnock. That was all they had. In space, Earth's satellites were crushed. The space station was torn in two. The Varnock had planned this for years. Humanity was strong, but not ready for this kind of war. All over the planet, survivors ran underground. Others launched escape ships into deep space. Captain Rhea didn't want to leave. There was no other choice. She met Dr. Milo in a hidden base under the Rocky Mountains. He was a scientist, not a soldier, but he looked just as angry. "They didn't come to rule us," he said. "Came to remove us." Rhea nodded. "They want Earth for themselves." With the last working ship in the base, they loaded what they could. A few weapons, some data, and only 60 people. Among them was Cade, a 14-year-old boy whose parents had died in the first blast. He didn't cry. He just stared at the wall, silent. Rhea saw something in his eyes. Pain, but also fire. The ship launched. As they escaped Earth's orbit, they saw the horror from above. The oceans burned. Forests smoked. The Varnock landed. Strange machines on the ground. They were changing the planet. "It's not Earth anymore," Dr. Milo whispered. "No," Rhea replied. "But one day, we will take it back." Silence filled the ship. No one spoke for hours. They had lost everything. Homes, families, cities, and Earth itself. But not hope. They flew into deep space, looking for others. Building small hidden colonies, surviving on scraps. The Varnock didn't chase them. They didn't need to. In their eyes, humanity was finished. But they were wrong. 6 years later, in the dark of space. A signal blinked on an old monitor. Captain Rhea, now older, with gray hair and harder eyes, looked. At it, she pressed a button. A voice came through. Not a human voice. Cold. Alien. "Earth is Varnock territory. All humans will be erased if found." Dr. Milo stood beside her. He had been working on secret weapons, using stolen tech. Cade, now grown and trained, stood with armor and a gun. He had become a soldier. Rhea didn't blink. She turned to the crew. "Let them think we're weak," she said. "Let them think. We're gone, but we're not." She looked out the window. "Earth is waiting for us, and we're coming back." The deep black of space was silent. Stars blinked far away like tiny eyes. Inside a hidden human ship called Hope's Flame, something strange happened. An old computer screen started blinking. Signal detected. Captain Rhea sat in the command chair, sipping cold coffee. Her eyes were tired. She had not slept in 2 days. When the alarm beeped, she stood quickly. "Report," she said. Cade ran to the console. He was faster now, stronger. "Not the silent boy from Earth anymore. It's a signal," he said, confused. Coming from Earth. Dr. Milo walked over. Wiping oil from his hands, he had just finished fixing the broken engine systems. That's impossible, he said. He blocked all Varnak's signals. They shouldn't be able to reach us. Rhea stared at the screen. The signal repeated again. Signal detected. Origin, Earth. Frequency, human pattern, human. Cade whispered. There are humans. On Earth. Dr. Milo shook his head. No. Could be a trap. Ugh. Could be a trick. But Rhea felt something different. A gut feeling. She had learned long ago to trust her instincts. Trace it. To code it. I want to know what it says, she ordered. The room went quiet.
Ow.
The only sound was the hum of machines and the soft tapping of fingers on keyboards. After 2 long minutes, the signal cracked open. A message played. A man's voice. Broken. Weak. Faint. ... They kept me alive. ... Underground. ... If anyone hears this, Varnak are building something under the planet. Not just about Earth. ... The message ended. Rhea's hands tightened into fists. That's a survivor, Cade said. Dr. Milo looked worried. Or it's bait. Rhea nodded. Could be. But if someone's alive down there, we owe it to them to find out. 3 hours. Later, the crew gathered in the strategy room. A big screen showed Earth. It looked beautiful from space. But they all knew it was not the Earth they remembered. The Varnak had changed it. The clouds were darker. Green forests had turned purple. Oceans glowed at night. Strange towers pierced the sky. Earth is no longer natural, Dr. Milo said. They've transformed it. Terraforming. Maybe even worse. Rhea pointed to a red dot on the screen. That's where the signal came from. Deep in the ruins of old Paris. Underground. Cade stepped forward. Let me go. I can get in and out. Quick. Silent. Rhea looked at him for a long time. You'll take a small team. 2 in, 2 out. No hero moves. Cade nodded. The small stealth shuttle, black and smooth like a shadow, flew toward Earth. No alarms were triggered. Varnak didn't notice. The team landed outside the ruins of Paris. The Eiffel Tower was broken, bent sideways, strange black. Vines wrapped around it like claws. Ash fell from the sky like snow. Cade, Juno a sniper, and 2 scouts moved through the ruins. No signs of life. No sound. Just broken buildings and alien roots. The air smelled like metal and death. They reached the underground tunnel. Sealed hatch marked Old Metro. Inside it was worse. The walls were covered in Varnak symbols. Machines hummed in. The dark. Something was alive down here, but it wasn't human. Then they heard it tap, tap, tap. Footsteps. The team hid behind a wall. A creature walked by. It looked like a Varnak. But not fully. Its skin was pale gray. Its eyes were black. And parts of it were metal. Dr. Milo's voice came through the coms. You're looking at a hybrid. They're mixing tech with biology now, Juno whispered. That thing was never human. Right? They moved deeper and found a door sealed with human markings. Cade forced it open. Inside was a small room, dirty and dark. A single man sat in the corner, chained and starving. His face lit up when he saw Cade. You came. You really came, he whispered. Who are you? Cade asked, cutting the chains. My name is Anders. I was a scientist. They kept me alive to study my brain. They're building something. Under the core, something old. What is it? Cade asked. Anders trembled. I don't know. But it's not from the Varnak. It's older, bigger, and it's waking up. Suddenly, alarms blared. Vright, they know, Juno said. Move, Cade shouted. They ran through the tunnels. Hybrid soldiers chased them. Laser blasts cut through the air. Juno covered the rear. 2 hybrids dropped, but more came. The shuttle was waiting. They jumped in, breathless, bruised, bleeding but alive. They escaped into space just before Varnak's ships could lock on. Back on Hope's flame, Rhea looked at Anders. You said they're waking something up. What is it? Anders closed his eyes. Whatever it is, It's under Earth's surface. And it's not just power. It's alive. Rhea turned to her crew. This war isn't just about Earth anymore. It's about what's beneath it. She walked to the front window, watching. The planets spin. Prepare the fleet. It's time we started fighting back. The stars outside were silent. But inside the ship Hope's flame, something wasn't right. Cade stood alone in the dark hallway. The lights above flickered. He was on his way to the armory when he heard it. Whispers, low, broken, like voices. Trying to speak through water, he stopped. Cade to command, he said into his cum. Do you hear that? No answer. Just more whispers, and then something worse, a scream, 15 minutes earlier. The fleet had found a Varnock outpost in deep space. It was drifting broken, cold, and quiet. No life signs. Captain Rhea stood. With Dr. Milo and Cade in the command room. This outpost was active last week, Rhea said. Now it's dead. Varnock. Don't leave their stations, Milo added. Not unless something scared them. Rhea narrowed her eyes. Were killed. Them? She ordered a boarding team. Cade led it. This could be a trap, he said as the shuttle launched. Or a clue. Inside the outpost, everything looked wrong. Dead Varnock bodies floated in the halls. Some were torn apart. Others were frozen in fear, their faces stuck. In silent screams, the human team moved carefully, flashlights cutting through thick fog. What did this? One soldier asked. No one answered. Cade stepped into the command center. The computers were still running. Strange symbols flashed across the screen. Dr. Milo watched the feed from the ship. This isn't Varna code, he said slowly. It's older, much older. Alien, Rhea asked. No, something else. Maybe Pralien, like it came. Before all of them, Cade touched a blinking button. The computer played a recording voice. Woy tried to control it. The silence, it grows, it eats. Thought, it remembers. Then static. What is the silence? Rhea asked. Dr. Milo didn't answer because in that moment, the outpost's lights turned off. All of them. At once. Back on Hope's flame, alarms rang. Energy spike in the outpost, the tech officer shouted. Something is waking up. Then Cade's voice came through. We've got movement. I repeat, we've got movement inside. Feed showed shadows moving in the dark. Not Varnock, not human. They were thin, tall, and seemed to slide rather than walk. Their eyes glowed white. They were in the walls. Cade said, We never saw them. They were never dead. Gunfire echoed through the ship's speakers. The screen turned black. Back in the hallway, Cade ran. One of the soldiers, Ramos, was missing. Juno had a deep cut on her arm. The team was falling apart. Retreat. Cade ordered, Fall back to the shuttle.
Oh.
But then he saw one of the creatures. It had no face. Just smooth gray skin and burning eyes. It didn't attack. It just stared, whispered. Cade's mind filled with noise. Memories, pain. Fire. Earth burning again and again. Then suddenly it vanished. What was that? Juno asked, panting. No idea, Cade said. But it wasn't a Varnock. They made it back to the shuttle and launched. Once safely docked, Rhea and Milo examined the footage. What did we just see? Rhea asked. Dr. Milo's face was pale. That was not Varnock tech. That was something ancient. Something that might have lived before the Varnock even existed. He paused. They called it the silence. It doesn't speak with words. It speaks through thought. Dreams, memory. Rhea shook her head. Why would it be inside a Varnock station? Maybe they woke it up, Milo replied. Maybe they found it, and now it wants more. Rhea looked out the window. First the Varnock. Now something worse. Later that night, Rhea sat alone in her room. The computer played the last seconds of the recording again, ... the silence. It remembers. She closed her eyes. Was this what Anders meant when he said something was under Earth? Not Varnock tech, not a weapon, something alive, something ancient. Something that didn't care about war or peace. Something that just waited. The next day, The fleet found another signal. It was weak, human. Dr. Milo ran a trace. This one. It's coming from Earth's moon. Rhea stood. Send a team now. Because if someone was alive on the moon and talking then, they might have answers. About the silence, about Earth, about what's coming. The moon was silent. No wind. Number. Sound, just dust and shadows. But under the surface, something was alive. A small human signal kept blinking. Weak. Fading. Like a heartbeat slowly dying, Captain Rhea watched the screen on the bridge of Hope's flame. Her jaw was tight. Could be another trap, said Dr. Milo, or a survivor. We don't leave our own, Rhea replied. Cade, prepare your team. The stealth shuttle landed softly in a hidden crater on the moon. The crew stepped out, Cade, Juno, and a tech expert named Bryn. Everything felt wrong. There were no Varnock patrols. No drones. But there were signs of something else, strange symbols carved in the moon rocks. Glowing faint blue, Bren scanned the air. This place was built long ago, he whispered, but not by humans or Varnock. Cade touched one of the walls. It pulsed under his fingers, like it was breathing. Let's move, he said. Stay sharp. They followed the signal into an old research base, half buried in rock. Inside, the power was low. Lights blinked. The smell of old metal and burned. Wires filled the air. Then they found him, an old man, barely alive, sat in a chair surrounded by machines. Wires were in his arms. His skin was dry. His eyes opened slowly. You're human, he whispered. Cade kneeled. We got your signal. Who are you? The man smiled weakly. Dr. Rayler was one of the first to study the Varnock. I stayed behind to monitor Earth's core. His voice cracked. But we found something else. Cade leaned closer. What did you find? The old man shivered. Not a weapon, a prison. Earth's core is not just rock and fire. Holding something, the Varnock are digging to release it.
Hey, what is it?
Juno asked. Dr. Rayler's eyes widened. Something older than memory. It doesn't just kill, it erases. Suddenly, the machines beeped. Warning lights flashed red. They're here, he said. They followed the signal. Outside, the shadows moved. Strange Varnock fighters, sleek. Faster than before, flew toward the moon. Back on Hope's flame, alarms blared. Multiple ships approaching, shouted the navigator. Varnock strike fleet? Rhea stood up, said they finally noticed us. She turned to the crew. Let's show them what we've been building. For years, humanity had hidden, escaped, survived. But now, they were ready to strike. The hidden fleet uncloaked one by one. Dozens of ships, small, fast, deadly. Their weapons were a mix of old human tech and stolen Varnock energy. The battle began. Red beams flew through the stars. Explosions lit up the dark. Cade and his team raced back to the shuttle, carrying Dr. Rayler with them. One of the Varnock ships chased them, firing rapidly. Juno turned, aimed, and fired a railgun blast. The enemy ship broke into pieces? That's for Earth, she said coldly. In orbit, Rhea's ship moved between enemy lines. Her voice rang through the fleet. This is for the cities you burned, for the lives you stole, for the silence you brought to our world. This is our first strike. Hope's flame fired a supercharged plasma beam. One of the Varnock command ships exploded in seconds. The rest of the fleet followed, firing with precision, with rage and with unity. The Varnock began to retreat. They were not used to losing hours later. The moon was quiet again. Cade stood in the medbay as Dr. Rayler rested. He gave us a location, Dr. Milo said, where the Varnock are digging on Earth. Rhea looked at the map. It showed a red zone deep under what used to be South America. The prison is beneath this area, Milo continued. Whatever it holds, the Varnock think they can use it. Up there. Wrong, Rhea said. No one controls that kind of power. She looked at her team. This was our first strike, but it won't be our last. Back in deep space, the Varnock command ship limped into orbit around a red star. Inside, a tall alien with black armor stood in the shadows. Another Varnock approached, nervous the humans. Have returned, the tall one turned. Green, they were meant to die, he said. They fight like ghosts. He looked at a glowing screen showing Earth's core. Let them come. Soon we won't need weapons. We'll have something far greater. He smiled at the silence. We'll speak. The stars were calm, but Captain Rhea knew that calm never lasted. Inside the command room of Hope's Flame, red lights flashed. A distress signal came from a hidden human outpost base Vega, deep in an asteroid belt. We just heard from them. Yesterday, said Cade. Now, total silence. Rhea didn't speak. Her eyes were cold. She had seen this before. It's a message, she said. The Varnock are answering our strike. And 10 minutes later, a scout ship flew through the belt. Juno. Piloted while Cade stood beside her, scanning the rocks. Then they saw it base Vega, floating in pieces. The outer shell was torn apart. Fire and ice mixed in the empty space around it. No survivors, Juno said softly. Cade looked closer. Wait, something's still broadcasting. They flew closer and connected to the broken signal. A voice came through, weak, fading. Don't go back to Earth. There, building it, inside the planet. It's not for war, it's for awakening. Then the voice screamed a horrible inhuman sound before cutting off. Juno's hands shook. What was that? Cade didn't answer. Back on Hope's Flame, Dr. Milo ran tests on the last part of the signal. It wasn't a human scream. He said it came from a Varnock, or something worse. He paused. They're using a new weapon. Biotech, maybe. Living. Captain Rhea listened quietly. Any proof? She asked. Yes, Milo said. He showed an image on the screen. A dark lab, with creatures floating in green tanks. Human bodies, Varnock bodies, and something in between. They're making hybrids. Cade stepped forward. Mixing species. Not just mixing, Milo said. They're blending minds. It's turning living beings into weapons. Connected, controlled, like a hive, Juno asked. Exactly, Milo replied. I think it's linked to whatever is buried under Earth. Far away, deep inside Earth, the Varnock worked without rest. Giant machines drilled into the core. The ground shook as the air glowed red. The Varnock overlord, tall and cold, walked through the tunnels. His scientists bowed as he passed. One of them spoke. We're close. The prison is weakening. The overlord looked at a massive stone gate, covered in symbols. This thing was sealed for a reason, the scientist said nervously. Even our ancestors feared it. The overlord smiled. That's why we need it, not for control. But to end control? He touched the gate. A low growl echoed from behind it. On Hope's Flame, a meeting was called. Captain Rhea stood before her top officers. We hit them first. Now they've answered. No more hiding. We go to Earth. The room went quiet. We've been preparing for years, Rhea continued. We know the terrain. We know the sky. It's our home, Dr. Milo added. I believe the Varnock are days, maybe hours, from opening the core prison. Once that happens, we won't just lose Earth. We could lose ourselves. Cade gritted. His teeth? Then we stop them before they open it. Juno nodded. First strike hurt them. Now we hit them where it counts. Rhea raised her voice. Operation Phoenix begins now. The fleet moved. Dozens of ships big and small entered stealth mode and headed toward Earth. Human fighters flew beside them. It's quiet and ready. They weren't going for war. They were going for surgical destruction. Target, the Varnock core drill. Site in South America. Meanwhile, the Varnock were ready. Overlord ships circled the planet. Thousands of Varnock soldiers stood guard. The air around Earth buzzed with alien energy. But there was something else now. Fear. The Varnock had fought many species. All had broken, but humans. They came back. Stronger. Smarter. Angry as the human fleet got closer, something strange happened. 1. Of their ships, the Ember Wing went dark. No signals. No movement. Captain Rhea contacted them. No answer. Then the feed came on. A soldier on the ship stood alone. His eyes glowed pale blue. His voice was flat. We heard the silence. We understood. We serve now. Then he smiled. The screen turned to static. Dr. Milo slammed his fist on the console. They've infected the minds of our people. We're not just fighting weapons. We're fighting thoughts. Rhea's voice was calm but sharp. Then we make sure our minds stay ours. The first strike team launched. Cade, Juno, and a dozen elite soldiers flew toward the surface. Clouds rushed past them. The earth below looked different alien, but the mission was clear. Destroy the core drill. Stop the awakening. The shuttle shook violently as it cut through Earth's thick clouds. Flashes of red lightning streaked across the sky. The once blue Earth was now strange twisted. Trees were black and leafless. The ground cracked with green glowing veins. The Varnock had poisoned the land. Cade stared out the window. This was his home, but it didn't feel like it anymore. This doesn't look like Earth, Juno whispered. No, Cade said quietly. This looks like something else. The pilots. The voice came through the headset. We're near the drop zone above the Varnak drill site. Captain Rhea's voice followed. Cade, your mission is simple. Get inside the drill. Destroy it. Get out alive. Understood, Cade replied. But nothing was simple anymore. The shuttle dropped low, flying under enemy radar. It released Cade's Strike Team 12 Elite, soldiers who parachuted silently into the jungle, or what used to be a jungle. The trees moaned in the wind. Some had glowing sacks hanging from their branches. One of the soldiers touched one. It pulsed and then screamed. Don't touch anything, Cade said. This isn't our planet anymore. They moved quickly through the alien terrain. Strange animals watched them from the shadows, half machine, half flesh. They didn't attack. They just stared. We're being watched, Juno said. I know, Cade replied. Keep moving. After 2 hours of trekking, they reached the edge of the Varnak base. It was massive. A giant tower of black metal stood in the center. Around it, drills dug deep into the earth. Alien machines hummed and moved like insects. At the bottom, a large crack glowed red the mouth of the core prison. Looks like they're almost done, whispered one soldier. Cade nodded. Then we stopped them tonight. They used cloaking suits to sneak past the guard stall. Varnock soldiers with glowing weapons. The team moved like shadows. They found a service tunnel leading into the heart of the tower inside. The walls were alive, beating softly like a heart. Varnak technology was mixed with something older. Symbols glowed on every surface. What is this place? Juno asked. Dr. Milo's voice came through that comes from orbit, not just a drill. It's a gateway. The Varnock didn't build it. They're just finishing what someone else started long ago. As they moved deeper, they passed strange tanks. Inside each tank floated a figure, some Varnock, some human, some unrecognizable. Juno stared. What are they doing? They're building something, Cade said. Something that doesn't belong to any species. Then came the noise, click dash, click dash, click dot, footsteps. They ducked behind cover. A tall creature walked past a Varnock. Hybrid. Its eyes glowed white. Its arms were long, twisted, covered in armor and cables. Its face had no mouth, just smooth skin. It stopped, turned its head slowly. The team held their breath. Then, Cade sighed. They're using telepathy. Talking without speaking? Can they hear us thinking? Juno asked. I hope not, Cade answered. Finally, they reached the core chamber. It was huge. A glowing pit opened in the ground. Lava boiled far below. In the center, a machine pulsed with energy, shaped like a heart, beating with dark light. Varnak priests stood in a circle, chanting in their strange language. Above them, a giant stone gate floated, covered in ancient runes. Cracks spread across it. Something inside was pushing to get out. Cade planted the bomb. 3 minutes, he whispered. Let's move. But as they turned, the chamber filled with a low growl. The hybrid from before stood at the exit. It raised one arm, energy glowing at its fingertips. Cade dove and fired. Bullets tore into its chest, but it didn't fall. It didn't bleed. It just screamed in Cade's mind. Why do you resist? It is already awake. Juno tossed a grenade. The explosion knocked the hybrid back. The team ran, alarms now blaring. Guards poured into the hallways. Gunfire echoed. Smoke filled the air. One soldier fell, and another. "We're not all making it out," someone shouted. "Go," Cade yelled. "Get to the exit! I'll finish this!" Back in the chamber, Cade returned to the bomb. The hybrid was crawling, body half destroyed. "You will become part of it," it hissed. Cade looked at the ancient gate. Something was looking back. Eyes. Hundreds of eyes. A voice whispered not in words, but in memory. It showed Cade Earth. Burning. It showed stars going dark. It showed everything ending. He hit the detonator. Boom. The drill tower exploded from the inside. The heart machine was torn apart. The gate cracked. The light vanished. The team escaped through an underground exit. Barely reaching the shuttle, later on Hope's Flame, Captain Rhea watched the explosion. From orbit? Did it work? She asked. Dr. Milo was quiet. Then he spoke. The drill is gone, but the gate, it cracked, but it didn't break. Juno sat beside Cade, who looked tired and distant. "It talked to me," Cade said. "Not with words. It showed me what it wants." "What does it want?" Rhea asked. Cade looked up. Silence. Captain Rhea stood on the bridge of Hope's Flame, staring at the stars. Her crew was silent. Below them, Earth burned softly in the night. The Varnock had failed to open the gate completely, but they hadn't stopped. And now, something else had gone wrong. A message had arrived. Human fleet destroyed near Titan. No survivors, only one signal left. That signal came from a human admiral, Admiral Thorn, a man Rhea trusted with her life. The strange part, he had gone missing 3 years ago. Inside the war room, Rhea sat with Cade, Juno, and Dr. Milo. "This could be a trap," Cade said. "We've seen what the Varna can do. They twist minds." Dr. Milo nodded. "But if Thorn's alive, we need to know how." He vanished near the Varnock border. No ship, no trace. Until now. Rhea didn't speak. She looked at the message again. "Come to the old colony on Vega 7. Come alone. We must speak." 4 hours later, Hope's Flame reached Vega-7. It was a dead world. Gray skies, cracked ground. A once thriving human colony. Now, buried in dust, Rhea took a small shuttle and landed alone. She walked through the ruined streets, holding a plasma pistol. Buildings were broken. Signs of old battles still marked the walls. Then she saw him. Admiral Thorn. He stood tall, dressed in clean armor, untouched by time. Rhea aimed her pistol. "You're supposed to be dead," Thorn smiled. "I was saved. The Varnock didn't kill me. They offered something better. What did you do?" Rhea asked. "I saw the truth," Thorn said. "Earth is lost, but we can survive if we join them." Rhea's heart sank. "You betrayed us." "No," Thorn said calmly. "I adapted. The silence is coming. The Varnock are not our true enemy. The thing beneath Earth's surface will rise. Nothing can stop it. But it promised mercy if we obey." Rhea stepped back, stunned. "You've given up." "I've chosen the future," he replied. "I called you here to warn you. Leave Earth. Hide. Let the Varnock finish what they started, or you'll all die screaming." Suddenly her cum buzzed. Cade's voice. "Captain, da-da-da-da-da. We just picked up. Varnock ships coming out of warp? They're heading toward your location?" Thorn didn't flinch. "They'll bring peace. You can be part of it." Rhea looked into his eyes and saw nothing human left. She fired. The shot hit his shoulder, knocking him back. But he didn't fall. His wound didn't bleed. Instead, his skin opened, and metal shined underneath. He was no longer fully human. Thorn smiled. "You'll understand soon." Rhea ran. She made it back to the shuttle as energy blasts rained from the sky. The ground shook. Varnock troops landed on Vega 7. Hope's flame opened fire from orbit, destroying enemy landers. Rhea's shuttle launched just in time. Back aboard, Cade helped her up. "What happened?" he asked. Rhea looked pale. "He's gone. Thorn isn't Thorn anymore." Later, in the medbay, Dr. Milo ran scans of the Admiral's DNA from a blood sample. "This isn't just hybrid tech," he said. "This is a full mind conversion. He thinks like the Varnock now, but he speaks like us." "It's spreading," Juno looked up from her screen. "More human ships are missing, all near Varna-controlled zones." Rhea stood quietly, then spoke. "We have a traitor network. Humans helping the Varnak. Maybe unknowingly, maybe willingly." "Why would they do that?" Cade asked. "Fear," Rhea answered, "or promises of survival. Or maybe their minds were never their own." On a distant station, hidden among asteroid rings, Admiral Thorn stood before a crowd, not Varnock. Humans, hundreds of them, wearing strange armor, silent, waiting. He raised his hand. "The final war is coming," he said. "We will return to Earth not to save it, but to deliver it." The crowd whispered as one. The silence must rise. Back on Hope's flame, Rhea gathered the crew. "There's no more time. We can't trust every signal. We can't trust every face. But we still have each other." She looked at Cade, Juno, Milo, every soldier, pilot, and engineer in the room. "They want us to turn on each other. To forget who we are. But we are human," she raised her voice. "And we're going back to Earth." The fleet prepared for war. But inside every ship, a new fear spread. Who is still human? And who already hears the silence? The nightmare began without warning. At 0200 hours. Inside the ship Silver Fang, Soldier screamed in his sleep. Then his eyes opened, glowing bright white. He stood up slowly, smiling. Then he opened fire. Back on Hope's flame, alarms rang. Cade rushed into the command center with his rifle. "What happened?" Juno, already there, pointed at the screen. "Silver Fang has gone dark. All crew lost." Ow. "No escape pods launched." Captain Rhea stared at the screen in silence. That made 5 human ships gone in 2 days. Each one had received a strange signal, short, sharp, and quiet. "Just before going silent forever. They're not destroying us," she said. "They're turning us." Dr. Milo ran his fingers across his keyboard, sweat on his forehead. "I found something. The signal isn't just a message. It's a virus. Not in machines, in the brain." "A brain virus?" Cade asked. "Yes," Milo said. "It travels through certain frequencies. It whispers to the mind. First, fear. Then dreams. Then ... surrender." Juno shook her head. "And that's why they don't need full control. It's just enough to change who you are." Cade's voice was low. "Just like Admiral Thorn." Milo nodded. "And now they've taken more. Rats! Maybe thousands. They're turning humans into something else." Rhea looked at the screen, then said, "Show me." The screen changed. A secret recon drone had captured footage from a Varnak facility. Inside were rows of glass tanks each, one holding a figure. Some had human faces. Others had none. Some screamed without mouths. All were connected by black wires into the same glowing core. Dr. Milo spoke softly. "They're building a hybrid army." He pointed to the center tank. Cade's heart sank. It was a young woman, his old teammate Lyra. She had gone missing 2 weeks ago. "She's still alive," Cade whispered. Milo nodded. "Yes, but maybe not for long." Captain Rhea didn't hesitate. "We're ending this now. No more waiting. We hit the facility. We take back what's ours." Cade stepped forward. "Then I'm leading the strike." Juno nodded. Going with him, the team suited up. 12 soldiers, full black armor, pulse rifles, silent boots. Their shuttle launched at midnight. Hidden by space dust and debris, they flew toward a large Varnock structure floating above Earth's orbit part. Ship. Part lab, part graveyard, they called it. The nest inside the nest. Silence ruled. The human team moved through metal halls. Watching red lights pulse on the walls, the air was heavy like it was thinking. Juno whispered, "We shouldn't be here." Cade replied, "We're already here." They reached the lab area. The tanks were real, worse than the video. One by one, they moved through rows of hybrid bodies, sleeping, twitching, dreaming. Some whispered names, some whispered Earth. Then, they found Lyra, still alive, eyes open, wires in her skull. "Cade," she whispered, "you shouldn't have come." He stepped closer. "We're taking you back." She smiled sadly.
Eyes.
Suddenly, alarms blared. The hybrids in nearby tanks opened their eyes all at once. White light filled the lab. Cade shouted, "Fall back!" Too late. One hybrid smashed its tank, landing hard on the floor. Its arms stretched unnaturally. It moved. Like a puppet, it screamed without a voice inside their minds. Juno shot first. The bullet slowed it, but didn't kill it. Another hybrid jumped out, then another. The lab was now a battlefield. Cade fired, yelling to Milo through comms. "We've been discovered. Initiate plan dustfall." Back on Hope's Flame, Dr. Milo hit a button. A remote virus uploaded into the nest's systems. The lights glitched. Tanks exploded. Power flickered. But the hybrids kept coming. Cade grabbed Lyra, still wired in. "We're getting you out." She gripped his hand tightly. Her voice was soft. "Don't let them take me back." He nodded. Juno tossed a flash grenade. The hybrids screamed and fell back. The team made it to the shuttle. Just barely. 2 soldiers stayed behind to hold the door. Their screams echoed long after the shuttle escaped. Back aboard Hope's Flame, Lyra lay in medical quarantine. Milo worked, quickly pulling wires from her skull. "Her mind is fractured," he said. "But she's fighting, I think. She never fully turned." Rhea looked at Cade. "That's proof. Proof they can be saved." He nodded. "Then we save the rest." But Lyra opened her eyes and whispered one last thing. "They're coming." Rhea asked, "Who?" Lyra looked up, her eyes full of fear. "The first hybrid. The one made from both leaders. It's not just a soldier. It's a key. Far away, in a hidden Varnock system, deep beneath black clouds." Something walked out of fire, tall, silent, half-human, tough-var. And its eyes opened, one green, one blue. It looked toward Earth and smiled. Deep in the black space beyond Neptune, a cold ship moved in silence. Inside, a creature sat on a golden throne of bone and steel. Her body shimmered like smoke. Her arms were long and thin, her face covered in silver marks. She was not human. Not fully Varnock either. She was the Varnock Queen, and she had just awakened on Hope's Flame. Lyra's condition was worse. She screamed in her sleep. Wires once buried in her skull had left strange scars, ones that glowed when she spoke the Queen's name. "She's not just a leader," Lyra whispered. "She's a voice inside our minds. No, she sees through us. She knows." Rhea looked at Dr. Milo. "What is she talking about?" Milo's voice was shaking. "I think the Queen is the true source. The one creating hybrids. She can connect across space. Maybe even time." Juno leaned forward. "And if she's watching, then she already knows we're coming." The crew had a choice. Attack the Queen's ship or wait for her to strike. Earth first. Rhea stood before the fleet. "We didn't come all this way to hide. Earth needs time. The hybrids are growing. We hit first." Cade nodded. "And we aimed for the Queen," Juno whispered. "But if she's like Lyra said, she might be more than just a target." The plan was risky. Fly close to Neptune. Slip past the Varnak perimeter. Board the Queen's ship. Find the command core. Destroy it. Dr. Milo had one hope. If we shut down the Queen's mind link, the hybrids might lose connection, even break free or go wild, Cade added. Still better than waiting, Rhea said. We're out of time. They launched at night. 3 stealth ships, minimal crew, no lights, no signals. They floated through the dark, quiet as ghosts. As they neared the Queen's ship, Cade whispered, "We're not alone." Juno checked her scanner. "Something's out there, following us." Then came the voice. Inside their minds, "You came all this way? For me?" The Queen's voice was soft, slow, and cruel. "I see your fears. I feel your anger. You are fire. But fire always burns itself out." Their ships shook. Cade clutched his head. "She's in our thoughts," Juno screamed. "She's reading us, using our memories." Rhea growled. "Block comes. Focus on the mission." Day pushed forward. The Queen's ship opened like a living thing, and they flew inside. Inside. The walls pulsed with black veins. The air felt wet and heavy. The team moved fast. Silent, strange whispers echoed around them, some in Varnak, some in perfect human voices. They passed rows of sleeping hybrids. Each one watched with open, glowing eyes, but didn't move. "They're waiting," Juno whispered, "for her command." Cade said. Then they reached the central chamber. The Queen floated in the center, wrapped in black silk. She looked at them and smiled with sharp white teeth. "So brave," she whispered, "so broken." Cade raised his gun. "You're not winning, not again." She tilted her head. "But I already did. You carry your dead in your hearts. Carry mine in my army." Then she raised her hands, and the hybrids around them woke. The fight was brutal. Cade and Juno fired, dodging claws and energy bursts. Dr. Milo uploaded a virus into the system. The Queen screamed. Her ship shook, walls cracking, but she didn't fall. She stepped forward and reached into Cade's mind. He dropped his gun, eyes wide. "Lyra," he whispered, "she's alive." The Queen laughed. "She is mine now. You all are." But then Lyra's voice came over the cum. "No," from Hope's flame. Lyra had linked herself to the Queen's network. Her mind was unstable, but still fighting. "I won't let you use me," she said. She triggered the virus herself, doubling the signal. The Queen screamed louder, her body twitching. Hybrids collapsed around her. Walls broke. Alarms rang. Juno grabbed Cade. "Now fire." He aimed and shot the Queen in the heart. The Queen fell back, her body fading into smoke and sparks. Her voice echoed one last time. "The first hybrid still walks." Then she vanished. Back on Hope's flame, the hybrids on Earth stopped moving. Some fell, some wept, some looked at the stars in confusion. Rhea stood silent on the bridge. Dr. Milo confirmed it. "She's gone. Her signal is dead." Cade stared out the window. "We won." Juno frowned. "Maybe." In a cave deep beneath Earth's crust, far below. Human reach. A tall figure opened its eyes. One green, one blue dot. It took a breath and spoke. "She is gone. Now it is my turn." The first hybrid walked into the darkness. The Earth was silent. No more hybrid attacks. No more mind voices. No more nightmares. But deep beneath the surface, something moved. It had no name. It had no master. It was the first hybrid, and it had a plan. Rhea watched the world from the bridge of Hope's flame for the first time in years. There was peace. "Any hybrid activity?" she asked. Dr. Milo checked his screens. Still quiet. No new signals. "Then we may have one," she said softly. But Cade shook his head. "No, I can feel it. Something's not right." "Shh," Juno added. "If the Queen is gone, who shut down?" "The Earth-side hybrids?" Milo hesitated. "There's one more signal. Very weak. Underground. Deep. Too deep for sensors." They all looked at each other. "It survived," Cade whispered. "The first hybrid." Far below them, inside an old mining system abandoned after the First War. The first hybrid stood alone, tall, tall, a strange mix of flesh and machine. It looked human, almost, but its eyes, one green, one blue, were wrong. It's clear to cold. It didn't speak, it only listened, and it heard everything. Earth's people, celebrating ships returning, weapons being powered down, perfect timing, back on the surface. The celebration had begun. People danced in the streets, children laughed again. Refugees were coming home. Humanity believed the war was over. But in one small village near the old mining zone, people started disappearing. First a dog, then a child, then an entire family vanished overnight. Cade received the report first. He read it twice, then slammed his fist on the table. Something's hunting again. Rhea didn't want to believe it. Milo ran a deep scan. Milo nodded. I'll try. But whatever it is, it's hiding behind Earth's crust, like it knows how we search. Juno loaded her rifle. Then we stopped searching from the sky. We go down there. Strike team was small. It's only 6 soldiers, including Cade and Juno. They entered the mine at night, using the old tunnels from the first invasion. Everything smelled of dust and rusted metal, but the air was warm. Too warm, Cade whispered. It feels like something's breathing down here. But then they found the first body. It wasn't torn apart. It wasn't burned. It was emptied. No blood. No bones. Just a dry shell of skin. The same happened to the second and third body. One of the soldiers turned back. This isn't war. It's a message. Then they heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Unnatural. The tunnel lights flickered. Then they saw it. The first hybrid. It moved like a shadow, but hit like a storm. One soldier was thrown into the wall and crushed. Another screamed before a spike of bone tore through his chest. Juno fired. The bullets tore through the hybrid, but it kept moving. Cade threw an EMP grenade. The hybrid screamed, its flesh burning, its machine parts sparking, but it didn't fall. It simply looked at Cade, then smiled. They ran. Only 3 left: Cade, Juno, and the new recruit, Aaron. They set charges behind them and blew the tunnel. Dust and fire filled the space. For a moment, it felt safe. Then a voice whispered from the darkness, "You can't kill what is already perfect." Back on Hope's flame, Rhea got the emergency signal. Milo had a new reading. It's spreading underground like roots. It's growing something, not an army, a core. Cade's voice came through the comm. We faced it. It's not like the others. It's learning, adapting. Rhea asked, "Can we destroy it?" Silence. Then Juno replied, "Only one way. We go nuclear. Seal the mines. Burn the whole zone." Milo frowned. "That's near 3 human settlements." Rhea closed her eyes. "We give the civilians 1 hour to evacuate." The plan was set. Drop a low-gelled nuke into the mine shaft. Seal the hybrid. Deep forever. Cade volunteered to deliver it. Juno refused to let him go alone. Rhea knew she couldn't stop them. "You have 1 hour," she said. Then we dropped the hammer. Cade and Juno returned to the mine, carrying the bomb. It was quiet now. Too quiet. No bodies. No sounds. Just that same warm air, like the planet was breathing. As they reached the deepest level, they found something new. A nest, pulsing, growing. And inside it, pieces of human DNA. Varnak tech. Something else. It was making more. Cade placed the bomb. Juno watched the shadows. It's waiting. The first hybrid dropped from above. Cade tackled it, yelling, "Juno, go! Get out!" "It out!" She hesitated, then ran. Cade fought with everything he had. Guns, knives, his bare hands. The hybrid never spoke. Never stopped. But as the timer ticked to 0, Cade smiled. Burn in hell. From the surface, the earth shook. A massive fireball rose from the old mines. Then, silence. Hours later, Juno stood on the bridge of Hope's flame. Rhea placed a hand on her shoulder. "He saved us." Juno nodded. "For now." Milo walked in, face pale. I picked up a new signal. Smaller, fainter, but alive? Rhea asked. The hybrid? Milo shook his head slowly. No, Cade. Smoke still rose from the old mines. The earth had burned again, but this time was not a loss. The first hybrid was gone, the nest destroyed. At least that's what they believed. But in the medical bay of Hope's flame, a cold metal table. HUMMED. Inside the cryochamber, a figure twitched. Cade was breathing. Juno stood frozen outside the chamber. Dr. Milo looked shocked. He should be dead. That blast. Nothing survives that. Cade always was. Stubborn. They slowly opened the chamber. Cade's body was covered in burns and bruises, but something was strange. His skin healed faster than human. His eyes, one green. One blue flashed open. He gasped, sitting upright. Where am I? Dr. Milo stepped forward. You're on Hope's flame. We pulled you from the mine after the explosion. Cade touched his chest. I remember. Fire. And something else. He looked at Juno. I saw it. I saw everything. Later in the command room, Cade explained, when the first hybrid attacked me, it didn't try to kill me. It tried to merge. Rhea frowned. Merge. Cade nodded. It pushed its mind into mine. I fought it, but part of it got in. Stepped back. You're saying you're one of them now? Cade stared at his hands. Not fully, but something changed inside me. He looked up. I can feel it. The others. Not all are dead. Dr. Milo ran scans on Cade. His DNA was human but twisted. Small pieces of Varnak tech had bonded to his blood. His brain activity was off the charts. He's evolving, Milo said. It's faster than anything we've seen. Rhea asked the hard question. Can we trust him? Milo didn't answer. Cade spoke first. I still bleed for Earth. But if I don't control what's inside me, we all lose. That night, Cade had visions. In his dreams, he walked through a black forest of wires and bones. Voices whispered. His name some human, some not. And in the center stood a figure cloaked in fire. Not the queen, not the first hybrid. Something. Ashton knew it spoke without a mouth. You are the bridge. The war is not over. The real enemy wakes. Cade woke in a cold sweat. He called an emergency meeting. There's more. The queen and the hybrid. They were experiments. Tests, Juno asked. Tests for what? Cade's eyes darkened. For something ancient. Something that doesn't just destroy it, replaces. Dr. Milo connected to old Varnak records. What if the Varnak didn't create the hybrids? Rhea leaned forward. Then who did? Milo stared at the data. There's one more signal. Deep space. Farther than any of us have gone. Cade nodded. That's where we go next. The crew prepared the long-range jump. Only a small team would go. Cade, Juno, Milo, and a new pilot. Vega, fast-talking ex-mercenary who owed Cade his life. Rhea stayed behind to protect Earth. If you don't return, she asked. Cade smiled. Then make sure Earth doesn't fall again. The ship, Dark Star. One launched into the black. The stars stretched into lines. And then silence. They had jumped. On board, Milo studied Cade closely. You feel different, like you're tuned to something. Cade nodded. Can sense them. Like shadows under my skin? Vega joked. Creepy, man. Real creepy. But no one laughed. They were flying into the unknown, and something was waiting. Days passed. Then, in the void between galaxies, they found it. A massive structure floating. In black space, it wasn't a ship. It wasn't a planet. It was a hive. A living machine, Juno whispered. What? Is that? Cade's voice was hollow. The birthplace. Of them all, suddenly a signal hit the ship, loud and sharp. Vega screamed, holding his ears. It's in my head. The lights flickered. Milo shouted, they've found us. Cade stood calm in the chaos. No, I found them. The ship was being pulled into the hive. Nothing they did stopped it. As they neared, Thousands of small dark shapes swarmed from the hive. Each one moved like a hybrid, but older, faster, smarter. Vega yelled, "We're not ready for this." Cade's hands glowed. His voice changed slightly. "I am." He stepped forward, eyes glowing green and blue. He reached out, and the swarm stopped. Milo stared in disbelief. "They're listening to you." Cade nodded slowly. "They think I'm—" One of them, Juno, grabbed his arm, then lied to them. "Make them think we belong here." Cade turned. "No, I'll speak to their leader." Inside the hive, something ancient stirred. It had no body, no face, just a presence. The architect, the one who created the Varno, the one who tested Earth, the one who now watched. Cade. Darkness surrounded the ship. Nothing moved, no sound, no light, just silence. Then a voice filled the minds of the crew. "You are not ready. You were never meant to survive." Cade opened his eyes. He wasn't in the ship anymore. He was floating in a sea of blackened stars, but he wasn't alone. Before him stood the architect. It wasn't a creature. It wasn't a machine. It was both and more. Thousands of minds swirled inside it. Human, Varnak, hybrid. All connected. It looked at Cade. "You are the broken one, the failed fusion. Why do you resist your purpose?" Cade clenched his fists. "Not yours." The architect's voice was cold. "All things that adapt belong to me." Back on Dark Star 1, the crew fought to hold the ship together. Alarms screamed. Energy levels dropped. Milo yelled, "We're being pulled inside. The ship's cracking." Juno gritted her teeth. "Where's Cade?" Vega struggled at the controls. "He's gone. Taken into that thing." Then the front window darkened. Outside, the swarm waited. Millions, not just hybrids, ancient forms. Creatures that made the Varnock look like toys. Juno whispered. "This isn't a war. This is extinction." Inside the architect's mind space, Cade stood his ground. He could feel every hybrid form watching him, every Varnock scream, every echo of Earth's destruction. "You drove us off our world," Cade said. "But now, we're coming back." The architect replied, "You misunderstand. Earth was not destroyed. It was tested, and you passed." Cade frowned. "What do you mean? Pain makes you strong. Loss makes you sharp." "Yeah. You are the weapon we needed." Cade's eyes narrowed. "You used us? I evolved you. I created the Varnock to break your will, but they failed. So now, you must take their place." Suddenly, pain rushed through Cade's body. Memories hit him all at once. His team. Dying, the Earth burning, the first hybrid's smile, Rhea's command. Juno's scream. His hands glowed again green and blue. The architect reached forward. "Become what you were made to be. Lead my army." But Cade stepped back. "No. Then you choose death." Back on the ship. Systems failed. The lights went dark. Then Cade reappeared on the bridge. Alive, changed. His body was glowing with strange energy. Juno ran to him. "What happened?" Cade didn't speak. He walked to the window. Outside, the swarm moved. Then, he stopped. Milo gasped. "They're not attacking." Cade turned slowly. "I am their key now," their command. "I can feel them all." Vega stepped back. "That's not normal, man." Cade shook his head. "No, but it's our only chance." He looked at the crew. "We can't beat the architect with weapons. It controls too many. It's too deep, too strong." Juno asked. "Then what do we do?" Cade said. "We turn its army." The plan was madness. Cade reached out with his new mind link and began sending a false command. He told the swarm, "The architect is broken. The architect is weak." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a ripple passed through the hive. Some of the hybrids paused. Some turned. Then they attacked their creator. The architect screamed. Not in sound, but in raw energy. The ship trembled. Milo yelled. "It's working. You're tearing it apart." But Cade was burning from inside. The power of the link, it was killing him. Juno tried to pull him back. "Stop. You'll die." Cade smiled weakly. Better me than Earth. He sent one final command through the swarm. You are free. Then he collapsed. The architect's core began to break. Its dark shell. Cracked from inside came a blast of white light. The swarm turned on it completely now. Like a storm eating its own eye, then dash silence. Dark Star 1 drifted in space. The hive was gone. The threat ended. Earth was safe, but Cade didn't wake. Back on Earth, days later, Rhea stood at the ceremony. All of humanity watched the sky. Juno stepped forward with a simple message. Earth was nearly destroyed. Twice, but we fought back. Not with fear, with unity, with strength, with sacrifice. She looked up, and with Cade. But as the people mourned, far above, deep in a hidden stasis pod aboard Dark Star 1, Cade's fingers twitched. His eyes opened. One green, one blue, and this time they were clear. The end.